A past president and current presidential candidate talking about the silver market and silver in general doesn't happen very often, if ever. In the case of Donald Trump, that's exactly what happened, though the way he said and mentioned silver might be a little worrying. In this movie, we'll talk about it and what it means as we look around. One more first. Donald Trump, who is running for president right now and was president before, is the first person to talk at a Bitcoin convention. And he just finished his speech as I was making this film. He said some pretty important things about Bitcoin and silver. Bitcoin is a digital currency. The only thing that makes it similar to silver and gold, in my opinion, is that they are both decentralized. Aside from that, there isn't much difference between Bitcoin and silver, since two people can trade silver if they want to. That does happen all the time, and we've seen it. Many states are even accepting silver as real money. Of course, you can also accept coins as payment. That's great, and I'm not against Bitcoin. However, there are risks with dealing with other people, and we might talk about those later. What did Trump say about metal, though? I thought it was great that at least the market cap of silver was on the list, and he was right that silver's market cap is now higher than Bitcoin's. There was a time when Bitcoin was worth more than silver. You may remember that I talked about this before. This happened in March of this year. The value of Bitcoin on the market actually went over that of silver, but right now the spot price of silver has gone up and the price of Bitcoin has gone down. Bitcoin used to be worth over $70,000, but now it's only worth about $67,000. This has caused silver to move up and become above again. A lot of people have bought and sold it. The value of all Bitcoins on the market is $1.32 trillion. It's possible that we see both of these things change hands every so often. Bitcoin is number 9 and silver is number 8. Trump also brought that up. The silver market is a pretty big player, number 8, and there are only a few other companies that are very, very big, numbers above that. Gold, on the other hand, is the biggest market of all time, $16.02 trillion. And it's miles ahead of all the others. As an honest matter of fact, the market value of the top 9 stocks would not even cover the cost of gold. That does make sense, though. But silver is made of metal. What are some of the things that silver and Bitcoin have in common? Well, they are both used for transactions, but in different ways. The first one needs power, but the second one doesn't. We know which one doesn't. To be honest, though, most of the value of the silver market depends on energy, that is, gold or silver coins that are stored with electricity. What are those different kinds of metal? It's not really the best way to put it that way. In the end, it's risk related to the price of silver, not silver itself. That's pretty much how the swaps market works. By the way, Bitcoin is now part of it. Bitcoin ETFs are now out there. That's the kind of thing we're looking at. As we can see, that's likely what will make Bitcoin grow, and after some flip-flopping, it will likely pass silver. This could happen all the way through the summer. We'll see. What will happen next rests on the price of silver. Even so, I like the idea of holding silver in the form of metal in my hands. Bitcoin doesn't give you that. Bitcoin is a type of digital money. I'll say it again. I'm not against Bitcoin. What's important is that those who put money into it have done pretty well. There are also people who have seen the risk and lost money with Bitcoin. But that's it, putting money into it. And as a currency, it's not stable, even though Bitcoin can be used in many places, including some dealers in rare metals bullion. By the way, Bitcoin and the blockchain it runs on can be tracked. It might not directly go back to you, but if you're careful, it could go back to you in a roundabout way based on how you handle that transaction. Still, gold and silver are the only real ways to remain anonymous. And silver, which is pretty much the everyday man's money. That's right, that's what most people do. Since the beginning of time, silver has been used as money more than any other metal or physical object. It's like no other metal. And we haven't seen that not being the case until very recently. Here in the US, it would be officially 1965 because they still made constitutional coins with the year 1964 on them in 1965. That was the last year that silver was stored there. They just used up most of their blanks and other supplies for silver coins. But that was the end of it. And other countries pretty much stopped getting it around the same time. A few countries kept debased silver coins, like 40% silver half dollars, 80% silver dollars, and even coins with even smaller amounts of silver until the 1970s. After that, everything was over. There will be no more metal or money. Still today, fewer and fewer coins are being used. Inflation has gotten so bad that many of the coins we use in this country are worth more than their face value, like cents and nickels. It's crazy to think about, but that's where we are now, and they're going to debase them even more by using cheaper metals. Over the course of history, silver has stood the test of time, even though its price has changed many times. At this Bitcoin meeting, I hope that Donald Trump's comment about the market cap for silver will get people interested in what silver is all about. What makes that market cap so big? It supports the idea that silver is definitely a product and not just an old money metal. These days, not as many people buy silver metal, even in the world of bullion. But I tell you, I hope that changes because no matter what, even in a world with high inflation, where things are so expensive and people are having a hard time making ends meet, they can still get a coffee at Starbucks and a silver dime at the local coin shop. I agree, that's what a bully bull's all about. We're sure that everyone had a silver dime or two lying around. If they got one of these, they would be making a strong statement. That's all you need to say that your silver is valuable. Yes, indeed, one dime in silver. I tell you, that's a fact. In fact, Donald Trump said in his speech that many people don't really understand Bitcoin. In fact, I have no idea what it means either. Of course, it can be mined. I tried it for a very short time. The amount of energy it took to mine was about the same as my electric bill before I got solar panels. The return on it was very little, and the few Satoshis I did mine are still floating around in the ether, unclaimed by me or anyone else. This is because I didn't meet the minimum requirements set by the miner I had installed on my PC, and it was mostly mined out at the time I did it. We need very, very powerful computers these days, which is why he talks about the electricity needs that Bitcoin will have, and I think that's bad for Bitcoin. Silver doesn't need power. Once you have it, once it's been made and is in your possession, all it needs is to be stored. You are the only one who will be taking a risk. I think the risk is how big of a party you're going to have because you have silver in your hand. This is because the money is not in the system. In all seriousness, though, that risk from a single party is something that should not be taken easily by any means. That means keeping an eye on your coins and not letting anyone steal it. There are ways to do that for sure. That has been talked about a lot on this station. It's exciting no matter what. Silver also comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes, such as rounds, bars, coins, and even little game pieces like this pendant. I can't remember what game it's from. There are a lot of pieces like this one that can be found. I think this is Sir K from a game. Also, this is made of real silver, even though it doesn't say so anywhere. A few years ago, I bought that at a coin show. This is what I'm going to say. Someone is going to always ask about this. But yeah, it's amazing how silver can be used in so many ways and to make so many different things. In fact, I have a piece or several pieces in my collection that no one else has ever seen. No one. I don't think anyone on Earth has ever seen them. As you watch this channel right now, I'll show them to you once I reach 100,000 followers. It's not just silver either. These designs are actually very, very old designs, but you'll see them anyway, so stay tuned for that. There will be a break for a while, but hopefully if you're not already joined, you have now. It will not be long before we reach 100,000 subscribers. But here we are, so please tell me what you think about what Trump said about silver. Once more, he says it's like Bitcoin. Also, Bitcoin's market value might rise above silver once more. But just because he brought it up, it might make more people talk about silver. Feel free to tell me what you think in the area below. I hope this movie was interesting, helpful, and educational for you. Also, I do want to ask you to rate, share, review, and subscribe.